Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting conversation on PokerProNews. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Grant Gardner, Asia's leading mindset coach for poker, live host for Poker Dream, and a very talented poker player who started playing game in 2007. So join me in welcoming Mr. Grant, a multi-talented personality. Hello, Mr. Grant. Welcome on the show.
Hello, brother. Thanks for having me.
You started playing poker at just 15, as I mentioned, right? And it transitioned to professional poker player after graduating like sports science and psychology. So, how did your background in sports science and psychology, right, influence your approach towards the poker game?
Interesting. Good question. So basically, at university, back then, I didn't think I would have the ability to turn professional. It was just a hobby. I made like a little bit of money from the game. But at university, I actually met one guy from Lithuania, an online grinder. So he showed me like, oh, this is possible. We can do this as a profession if we chase it. But we must work for that, obviously. So in my final year at university, I basically prioritized all of the psychology modules because I felt that like the sports psychology, the way that we were like looking into the mind of an elite athlete, this can actually be transferred and applied to the poker world as well. So I was taking like all of this knowledge from the sports science world, how to like motivate an elite athlete, how to stay disciplined, how to keep confidence levels high, especially when things don't go your way. And I applied that directly to the poker world. So yeah, just trying to look at poker as a sport and really focusing on like the mental aspect of the game. And that's kind of like what kickstarted my journey into trying to not only become a professional player, but trying to look at the game in a very professional way, trying to analyze and study it in a very precise, professional manner. And yeah, things just snowballed from there. In my last year of uni, I basically decided, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to go for it, and did like the bare minimum in my studies. Still made sure to graduate, but to be honest, I was just grinding. In my last year, I was just grinding, studying to make sure that when I graduated, I was somewhat good enough to make a living from the game. And then, yeah, that's where we started the journey as a professional right after graduating. Yeah.
Amazing. A follow-up question. So you got your first live cash in I think 2011, right? And since then you amassed like over 318,000 USD around, according to like now the information available. So how has the live poker landscape changed over the years? Because you have been into the industry for so many years, you're playing live regularly. So, and what are the adjustments you have made to stay like, competitive?
Yeah, so I think poker is like a good lesson for life, right? You must adapt and change to what's happening like, nowadays. You must like get with it, so to speak. Poker, there's lots of these like trends and like meta games that keep coming around full circle. So it's just all about staying like one step ahead of the curve. One thing that I've done to stay competitive over the years is just study, consistently study, because you never stop learning, you never stop improving, not just in this game, but in life, right? So as I said, it's a lesson for life. No matter how much you know about something, you can always find room to increase your knowledge or to like fine tune and sharpen what you already know. So with poker specifically, my career is kind of split into two sections. It was like pre-COVID, as you saw, like way back in the day, these like £30, £50 buy-in freeze out tournaments at my local casino. Then I didn't play live for like 10 years. I was just grinding online during that time, like building up my role, studying. And then I jumped back into poker just under 3 years ago, like post-COVID, and then started to play like the high rollers. Average buy-in maybe like 1,000, 1,500 USD, around about this range. And yeah, of course, it's very different compared to like 10 years ago. Poker these days, much more competitive. Everyone these days seems to be studying to some capacity. Even they're just like, discussing with friends. Maybe they're not diving into the solvers and running the sims. They're still trying to approach the game in a more professional way. So yeah, way more competitive. So that just makes us, we need to sharpen our tools even more so. We must be on the absolute top of our game, because even the fish, quote unquote fish, or, the recreationals, even these guys, they know what to do these days. They have some moves up their sleeve, have some tricks up their sleeve. But for me, that's made the game more exciting. It's more challenging. This competitiveness, it's what like wakes me up in the morning. When it's too easy, you can get complacent. So I like, something I like to look at is the inverted U theory. So we can imagine that on the graph, we can look at our motivation and like sort of how hard or easy the challenge is. And you'll find that when something is too easy, it doesn't like interest us enough. Motivation is sort of like low. When it starts to get more challenging and it hits that sweet spot, motivation starts to peak, and that's where we can hit this like flow state. It's where we're really in it. We're immersed in it because we're enjoying it. Dopamine is flying, time passes much faster, and that's where you play your best game, because you enjoy it. But then what you find is if you're too motivated, if you become over aroused for something, performance starts to drop off once again. A good example is in football. Roy Keane, one of my heroes, he was over aroused for a game. He hated this guy on the other team. He came into the game too hyped up, slide tackle, snapped the guy's legs, red card, and he was sent off. It's like classic example of when you're like too like this, you want to get in there. But yeah, this comes back to now like the mindset and preparation, the breath work, the meditation. This is why I'm massive on this, because we can use this to keep these emotions of like LFG, let's go, but calm and center yourself first. We must channel this aggression. And I think these days I've found the sweet spot now. I don't let my ego out. It's much more channeled and controlled. And the same with my aggression at the tables. It's more calculated. But no, this competitive environment and seeing poker like transition this way definitely made me more competitive, study more, and overall just enjoy the game. Yeah, a lot more.
Got it. A follow-up question, because you talk about a motivation also, and poker is a game where you have to keep learning. So for aspiring player, like, who want to come into international arena, who want to play live poker and want to compete on bigger fields like WSOP, WPT or APTs. So what should be a good material or a Bible where anybody should refer, whether it's a mid-core mistake player or an aspiring player or any high roller also?
Alrighty, yeah, great question. So myself and my business partner, she is living in the UK. She's a hypnotherapist, and we run the Master of the Mindset program. So this is not just centered around poker, but this is in life, essentially. And I'm glad you referred to mental health there, because this is everything. Essentially, when you sit down at the poker table, it's no longer time to study or think about how to improve. It's just time to execute. So you must be feeling good. You must be very confident, no fear, no anxiety or doubts like holding you back. Like the only constraints, things that hold us back, they only exist within the mind, right? So it's all centered around our thoughts and emotions. So if we can control this, we can like overcome this anxiety, install the mental clarity, and then execute efficiently. Make good, calm, logical decisions at the table. So yeah, for myself, this is everything. This is like 100% of the game. When it's time to sit down, the theory doesn't matter anymore. It's simply about being present, being grounded, and executing to what you've already learned, not what you're trying to learn within the moment. Sorry, brother. Please remind me of your question. I went off on a tangent.
Yeah, so
it's so common for me.
But any reference where people, like any aspiring poker player or any other player, they should read it out, or they should check out those blogs or videos, like anything you want to suggest, right?
Yeah. All right. So if you want to improve, number one, fix your circle. What I mean by that is your closest friends around you. I'm sure you've heard this saying, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it's true, right? So yeah, again, linking back not just to at the poker table, but the Master of the Mindset program is like the full life program. So it's coming down to discipline, habits, Are you a positive optimism person, you know? Or are you a guy that's lazy, has a victim mindset? Are you like giving out poisonous negative energy to the people around you? Be careful of this. And if your circle includes these people, get rid of them. Find new people. Now in poker, there's unlimited resources out there. Training videos, you have the solvers where you can sort of go down the rabbit hole and study and learn yourself. Then you obviously can hire coaches. You can talk to people about hand histories. There's many ways to learn, but ultimately you need to stay productive and motivated. And the best way to do that is have a solid support system around you. Have like-minded friends with like-minded goals that all share the same aspirations and work as a team. Report your findings to each other like, oh, hey, I found this interesting concept, you know, in this spot here, we're supposed to start over betting, whatever you can find. Run this by your team and they can come back to you and challenge you. Say, hey, yeah, that's cool, but did you know this? What about this? And you kind of bounce ideas and strategies off each other. This is the fastest way to reach the top. And once again, be brutal with this. If you think someone is not like sharing the same goals as you, people can change, right? You can also change, and that's how we adapt and grow. If you feel like you've outgrown your friends and your circle and they're not helping you get to where you want to be, then be tough, be savage with this. Say, hey, sorry, you know, I respect you, but right now our goals don't align. And then go and find new people. I can't stress this enough. I feel like, yeah, we only need like a few friends. You can count your really good close friends that you can trust your life with on one hand. That's all you need. If someone is no longer in that circle, it's time to go. Keep refreshing and updating and upgrading your circle. In poker, you know, there's so many mini circles that you can kind of like try and attach yourself to. This is the fastest way to get. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Totally agree. In fact, we keep on interviewing people, lot of poker players, and everybody who are performing very well, they have their own circle, own community where they keep on discussing their hands, their multiple games, players, history, everything, right?
I think this is most important when poker's not going well for you. You know, when it's going well, it's easy, right? You're happy, nothing to worry about. You think like, oh, I'm the world's best player. When it starts to go bad, this is where this self-doubt creeps in. Confidence starts to drop. This is where now you can essentially create a downswing for yourself by starting to play bad. You might think it's the variance, but actually if you study your sessions, you can see the confidence has now affected your game. You're deviating from your strategy. You're not playing your A game anymore. These are the times where this support circle matters more than ever. To have someone to hold you accountable, to reach out, say, hey, buddy, you're not doing this, and this correctly, you know? You need to start going to the gym more. You're not sleeping enough. Hey, you're not studying enough. You're actually not playing your best game right now. This is the most important time to have people to pick you up, reinstall that confidence and motivation, get you back on the horse, and get you back to winning ways as soon as possible.
Got it. So you are a master practitioner in NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and you're a poker, like mind coach for poker. In like, you know, you're working with a lot of poker players. So what are the common mental challenges poker players face? Like, and again, on top of that, how do you tailor your coaching to help them overcome these?
Yeah, so you'd be so surprised to hear some of the crazy things that I've heard over the years, like how people's minds operate, right? It's crazy. Human beings are amazing specimens, how we can like create our own realities. Like we have like what I think is real, you have what you think is real, but then there's the actual third like reality, right? And this is all done through our own thoughts and feelings, conditioning it over time. And some of the things I've heard in the poker world is bizarre. What this generally stems around is the common theme of, let's say, self-doubt or anxiety. You know, it comes down to like a lack of confidence. What the actual trigger is or the specific thing can vary from person to person. But generally speaking, it's this overall common theme, not 100% self-confidence. You know, this self-doubt creeps in, and this competitive high-pressure environment, you know, a lot of adrenaline, a lot of cortisol flying through our systems, and variance is there. Variance can test us and confuse us in many ways. Start to think like, oh, am I doing everything right? So people often come to me for this like reassurance. And then secondly, how can they fix this? Like what coping mechanisms can they install and put in place on the fly so they can use them at the table to reset, put them back into like a confident flow like state so they don't need to leave the table to reset. And most importantly, they don't start making bad decisions. So this is where neuro-linguistic programming comes in very well. The Master of the Mindset program was created by myself like 3 or 4 years ago because I first used NLP for myself, for my own mindset for poker. I used to be extremely hot-headed. I had a massive problem with anger management, anxiety. I was in denial when I played poker. I knew deep down I wasn't confident, but I sort of tried to brainwash myself and become delusional. But this didn't work for me because the doubt was still there. I knew I was like kidding myself. And then over time, my results showed this. So I was like, okay, it's time to fix this. I hired an NLP master practitioner, and that's where my journey in NLP started. So he showed me a few like techniques centered around breath work, visualization, mind control, trying to center yourself, be present, and then trying to use certain techniques that rewire your thoughts. They basically restructure your thought patterns, which then allows your feelings and emotions to change also, right? Because our feelings and thoughts come from, feelings and emotions come from the thoughts we put through our body. So if we can essentially improve the health and quality of our mind and thoughts, the feelings and emotions will also follow suit. He basically showed me the light that yes, you can control your mind and literally transform your life just by transforming and controlling your thoughts. So it comes down to this like repetitiveness, holding yourself accountable and really sticking to it, doing the work, being consistent. It's a cliche, but consistency is key. Because when you stick to this, you start to notice then the way that you look at the outside world starts to change. And for me, that was a beautiful moment. You know, for like 1 to 2 years, I've been in this negative thought pattern. It all started to change. I was no longer like kidding myself, like trying to fake it. It was actually happening for real. And that's the moment that I fell in love with NLP, became passionate about it, started my own course. And all I'm trying to do now is spread this awareness to the players like, hey, mindset is so important. And if you aren't looking at this, you're missing out. Like this is a huge edge that you can work on. And once you like tap into this like very present, aware state of yourself, you can start to crush. You can really then see how this mindset can be used to not only be more aware, present, and focused than your opponents, but now you can start to manipulate some decisions and dynamics at the table to give you an extra edge over your opponents.
Exciting. Let's talk about your journey some more. So in your journey, you have been final table several prestigious events. And your career best score, I think, came in the mystery boundary at Wayne Summer Classic, right? This year only. So can you just walk us through your experience like in that event, that specific event?
Wow, crazy, crazy. It was mind blowing for me. Career biggest score, but the potential sweat of maybe winning it, that was like, wow, the emotions are insane. I just remember it was like the last 2 tables. I was texting my mother like, we're here, we've done it, Mom, we've made it. This is what I've worked for my whole career. This is what I've dreamt of. First prize was like 530,000 USD. Still have the jackpot bounty of $250,000 in place. I have 5 envelopes unopened and there's only 17 bounties left to pull from. So it's like huge sweat. Maybe I'm gonna go home with like $1 million USD here. Ultimately, you know, that didn't happen. I let my friend go and draw my bounties. 5 bounties amounted to $5,000, which is, you know, it's a lot of money, but when you expect maybe I'm going to win $250,000, it's a bit of a, you know, bit of a killjoy, especially when you have to go back then and play the final table. But of course, like overall, I wasn't in this like negative, like, oh, victim mindset. I was very blessed to even get that far in the tournament. Had to run amazingly well. I felt like I played and focused really well, but mostly it was just enjoyable. You know, so many emotions. It was just a roller coaster. I ended up finishing sixth, I think it was. Got my chips in good, ace queen against ace nine, but wasn't salty. You know, the nine came on the flop. I was smiling, shaking everybody's hand, because ultimately, you know, I understand tournaments and variants. I ran good to get to that position anyway, so I'm never going to complain about, you know, getting sucked out in that last hand. I cashed for like 125k. I think I had an extra 16 or 18,000 in bounties as well. And yeah, career biggest score. Just felt great, you know, all these years of studying and grinding. It felt like, hey, it's all finally paid off. And it just made me more hungry, more motivated to continue this journey. So now in 2025, I am basically already prepping for Vegas. I'm already studying and trying to get myself disciplined. I'm in the gym, I'm trying to eat well, just so I show up in May for that 7 weeks in tip-top form, mentally, physically, and I can hopefully do the same again. Yeah.
So you talk about discipline. So you have done a lot of deep runs in multiple, you know, big events, and I'm sure for that you need a very strong mental discipline, very focused things, right? So what mindset techniques do you use to stay sharp during these high pressure events, right? Can you suggest few, like, you know, for other audience?
Sure. So I want to be very clear here that, like, when it comes to mindset and discipline, the work is not done at the tables. This is a very common thing I get from clients. They reach out, hey, I've got a series this weekend. What can I do? Basically nothing. You should have asked me this question 3 months ago. But when it comes to at the table on the fly, I think breath work is the best thing that you can use. So let's say you have put the work in, you are disciplined in your life, you've been eating well, you've been sleeping well, you've been studying, you've been exercising. You then show up to the series in the best physical shape you can possibly be in. This translates to the best mental shape that you can possibly be in. Because for me, poor mindset, poor mental game, it comes from insecurity. It comes from a lack of discipline and confidence. Let's say you've been skipping these workouts, you've been eating unhealthily, you've been going out drinking. These small losses in your mind, these eat away at you. You now don't feel as strong as you should. You feel like a loser, an inferior version of yourself. This then comes out in your plays. You're trying to prove something. You're trying to, insecurity is trying to show off and make a move against the guy when you shouldn't. And then you're playing, quote unquote, badly. If you're content with yourself, you feel great, your mindset sharp, there's no need for that. Look at Jason Kuhn. He's just sitting there like a boss, playing perfectly. You know, he's not forcing the spots because he feels so good about himself. But let's say you're in the moment now and it's too late. You're like, yeah, I know I should have been doing the work, but we're already here now. What's a quick fix that we can do? Well, let's focus on the breath work. So very clear breath work techniques I'll give you right now. And just be clear, this is not meditation. Meditation is a whole nother ball game. Again, should be worked on outside of the game. You meditate before the session, you sit down, you're already in a meditative state. I make a mistake, I feel offset. How can I come back? Okay, step number one, we breathe in and out from the stomach. Why do we do that? That's where the calming receptors are. If something happens like a situation and we go into fight or flight, we now breathe rapidly from the lungs. This signals to the brain, oh, we're in danger. Parasympathetic nervous system is activated. We start to become impulsive and illogical with our thoughts. Step one, breathe into the stomach, not the lungs. Step two, control the rate of breathing. So inhale for 6 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Why do we do that? This is the natural rate of breathing. We train ourselves out of this over time with society. But if you look at a baby, it's normally around 6 seconds in and out. So by manipulating the breathing rate to that duration, after a few rotations, you signal to the brain you're safe. In a dangerous situation, you can't breathe that slowly and calmly. So by manipulating the breath at that frequency, the brain realizes, okay, we're safe. No need for danger, no need for fight or flight mode. Parasympathetic nervous system reactivates and you feel this wave of relaxation just come over you. So 6 and 6, in and out from the stomach cavity. Very, very simple. Okay, that's the immediate reset to try and install a bit of calmness. Now, what happens if that's not enough? We still feel like some tension in the chest. We can feel this like residual stress still there. And now we want to kind of like get rid of that. Okay. Second technique. This one's called the 7-11 technique. Why is it 7-11? It's because it's 7 seconds on the inhale and 11 seconds on the exhale. Now we intertwine and embed a little bit of NLP visualization into this. So in NLP, we have something called submodalities. So it's not just how you look at something, but you look at it and then you hear what this makes you think about it based on your kinesthetic feelings. You look at the size of it, the texture of it, how close it is. You know, how does this make you feel essentially? We're trying to paint a picture of this in our mind. So firstly, we will look at the color of red. It signifies stress and tension. And we will try to change that to blue because this signifies calmness and peace. So I'm going to imagine in my stomach now I have a balloon, and in the 7 seconds, I'm going to fill this balloon up with a red vapor. Okay, this vapor is going to come down from the air, from my mind as well. And this red smoke, I'm going to visualize just filling up this balloon with that tension. This vapor signifies the stress, this feeling I'm trying to release. Okay, now the 7 seconds is split into 3 cavities. 3 seconds stomach, 3 seconds lung, and 1 little sip from the nose. So 3 seconds inhale from the stomach, fill the balloon. 3 seconds from the lungs, fill the balloon, and 1 last sip from the nose. Visualize all this red smoke now. It's just filled up this balloon, it's there. And on this 11 seconds exhale, super slow now from the nose, just exhale this vapor out into the air. But as it dissipates and evaporates away, visualize this turning to blue. And just watch all this calm vapor now just evaporate into the air around you, swirling around you now, and you're just surrounded by calmness and peace. And just do that 1 or 2 more times. Let that stress again build up and just breathe that out into the air around you. Very simple techniques to be used on the fly, very basic, but very, very effective, because you'll notice once you stick to that, just 2 or 3 repetitions, that calmness is already there. And in a short answer, why this works from like a scientific point of view, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts have been on this like very clear, very concise technique for 20 or 30 seconds. Therefore, we actively stop and prevent thoughts of anxiety, fear, doubt creeping in. And that's it. That's the game changer. When you control your thoughts, you control your mind, you control your emotions. So 2 to 3 rounds of the 6 and 6 and the 7-11 breathwork techniques, and that's all you need. You'll feel like a wave of calmness come over you, and then it's back to the game.
Yeah, thank you sharing for, that's valuable techniques. Hopefully, our audience and, other poker players, they will use it for, controlling their mind and everything. So with the Poker Dream, you're hosting, you're being the host of the Poker Dream Live. And so first of all, what excites you, or what was the rewarding part just to accept this as a role? And again, how do you ensure to keep engaging your audience, to keep the shows, go live with all the engagement and all the stuff, right?
Yeah, so definitely feel very blessed and honored to have the opportunity to represent Poker Dream, because I initially started as a player on the circuit there, and I just really liked the way they run things. I just felt like this series specifically, I always had more fun when I went there, and now I actually joined the team. It's exactly the same, so fun working with a team of legends. And I just feel very honored in the sense that I get to represent this brand as an ambassador and host, but also they allow me to keep being myself. They allow me to still chase my dream of being a professional player. I think for the brand, it makes sense because They obviously want to show people, hey, Grant isn't just, working for us as a host. He actually studies the game, he takes it seriously, and he's been playing professionally for over 10 years. So I think the brand kind of liked the fact that I still have my goals and aspirations to play poker on the side. For myself, the main thing when it comes to poker, because we only have one life, right? We only have one opportunity to play this wonderful game of life. So if we're going to choose to do poker for some capacity, whether it's professional or not, or whether it's, for 1 year, 10 years, who knows how long we'll be playing this wonderful game. We might as well enjoy it. Otherwise, what is the point? So that's number one, first and foremost for me. We must be having fun at the tables. So this is my main goal of being a host for Poker Dream. I want everyone to take it seriously, to study, to be competitive, to try and win. But my main goal as a host is to make sure everyone's smiling, to make sure everyone is enjoying it. When it's winning, it's all sun and rainbows, right? Everyone's happy. But as we know, the reality of poker, especially if you're playing tournaments, 85% of the time, you're not even in the money. So if you're looking at, wins and losses on if you make money or not, essentially you're setting yourself up for failure 85% of the time. So again, this is where the mindset stuff comes into it. You must reshift and reframe your perspective on the parameters for success. It should be based around discipline and focus. And if you made your best decisions at the time, not if you made profit or loss. But yeah, if you are focused on the money aspect, of course, you set yourself up for failure, and that's not good. You're not going to be enjoying poker most of the time. So for me, when I can see a player sort of walking out of the card room with their tail between their legs, you can tell oh, this guy has a rough day at the tables. I'm going over to him, trying to, dissociate him from what's just happened, reframe his perspective, get him to see the positives of it, and try and get these guys back in there. Poker Dream, of course, they want that more rake, right? More buy-ins. It's good for business, but for me, I'm just only caring about people's feelings and emotions. I want this guy to leave having a somewhat positive experience, even when he's quote unquote losing, because for me, that's what it's all about. Poker is an amazing opportunity. We're blessed. We're getting to travel the world, meet new faces, play with people from all different backgrounds and cultures, and maybe get to make money at the same time. It's a blessing and an opportunity. It's definitely not a chore. Yeah.
Amazing. So you recently promoted coin poker rakeback deals on your Instagram. So yeah. So with the increasing in the global poker circuit, with the increasing popularity of blockchain and crypto in the global poker circuit, so how do you see the platforms like coin poker and other platforms who are using crypto as an exchange? So what is the future of the game like? But is it going to be more convenient, or how players are thinking of it? Because you are talking to so many people, right, in the industry.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think cryptocurrency is sort of changing the world. We can see this happening right now when it comes to investments, and potentially this might be the currency of the future. Poker now is starting to tap into that market as well, which I think makes sense. It's smart. Very convenient source of funds that players can trade. So I think platforms like Coin Poker specifically, they are going to the moon. I think right now their growth seems to be very, very rapid. They have a good team. A lot of cool and trustworthy ambassadors are joining as well, which is making people believe in the future. So that is why I've kind of got myself this affiliate deal with them. I've got the best rate back deal possible. So yeah, if anyone wants to sign up for Coin Poker, you can use the code word LEGEND. That is my word, legend, or you have the link, which is in my bio on Instagram. And this will essentially get you the best deposit bonus and rate back deal. So for myself now, when I play MTTs online, I'm putting most of my volume at Coin Poker, simply because I like the software and I think this is heading in the right direction. Yeah, I think all things crypto for now is like thumbs up. I don't really understand that world too much, but yeah, I see the numbers going up, so I'm like, hey, that's good.
Guys, definitely check out the code. Okay. So, I mean, few minutes back you discussed about like how Poker Dream allow you to be host as well as player, like so being yourself, right? And it's around there, like so Poker Dream 15 is coming around, and so how do you prepare to balance your roles? Because it's a big task, like being a host as well as playing, so what kind of preparation you generally do for such kind of big shows specifically?
I rest and I recover and I prepare because honestly, it's exhausting, but I love it. Right, that's what keeps me going. But no, like it's a grind. I'm not gonna lie to you. Being on the road and trying to balance it all, it's definitely exhausting. It takes its toll, but I love it. I need to shout out my bosses, Rex, Ben, Anthony. You guys are legends. Like I said, they really bend over backwards and give me what I want because they know it's been tough for me. It's been contradicting between my goals, what I want, and like limited time that I have. So I want to work with Poker Dream, but then I want to do this. So my boss has been like very accommodating, really like help me out. And we've found like some compromises that allow me to find like the sweet spot in between where I can keep doing all things at the same time. But yeah, mostly how I prepare for the series, genuinely, I take a little bit of downtime, I rest, recover, get a good sleep, get some good food in, just so I show up, feeling mentally good, mentally fresh. And then that kind of goes like this as the series goes on. We lean on the caffeine and the Red Bulls as we get towards the end of the series, just to get us through. Keep the energy nice and high, and then everyone says to me, Grant, how do you stay so positive and high energy? Well, guys, you don't see me after the series. It's 2 or 3 days like sleeping, cuddling my cats, and just trying to recharge.
Great. There are a lot of poker players now who are opting as in like they want to become host, or they like they want to opt in this as a career, like because there are a lot of events online and offline happening and they want to be presenter and host. So any suggestion or any guideline you want to convey, because you are doing pretty fine, right, in your hosting career? So any suggestion for those people like who are budding or who want to who are aspiring for as an host and presenter as a career?
Yeah, so the feedback I've received has been like generally positive, and people often ask me like, how long have you been doing this? Like you're really good at this. And to be honest, I still have a bit of imposter syndrome. It's like I'm still somewhat new to this. I'm always like questioning, am I good at this? Or one thing that I found is just be yourself. Like that's the best advice I can give to anybody. All these restraints I spoke about before, they only exist in here. The more you think, the more you hold yourself back. So it's like, if you want anything in life, just go for it. It's okay to have these emotions of like fear and uncertainty, but use that to fulfill, to thrive you, put that as fuel to your engine and just go for it. The more I think and overanalyze, especially in the hosting job where you're on camera, the worse my performance is. You can see I'm like a robot. I'm not so present. I'm thinking about my lines instead of just flowing. So someone asked me like, oh, how can I get confident? Practice. Set your camera up at home and just talk, just film videos. The reason I felt like I had a head start in this was because of my Master of the Mindset course. I've been filming myself, recording all the content, on the video. So many outtakes, so many mistakes, but it was just practice until I was happy with the content. And this has basically been training to be on camera. But one thing I've realized after all that training, I can give someone, the shortcut answer. It's just be yourself, If you're feeling nervous before the camera starts, just have a dance. Just like literally like All right, so I do this at work. I say to the camera guy, all right, give me 5 seconds, because I feel a bit of anxiety, So I'm like vibing, I'm dancing. All right, like this, some funny things. Action, let's go. The camera starts, I'm smiling, I'm in a funny mood. I'm not overthinking, I'm just doing. And so what if I mess up, right? All that's gonna happen, all right, cut, take 2, dance, go again. Until we get it, man. And the camera crew, of course, it's their job. They're getting paid. They don't mind if they do it 1 time, 10 times, For them as well, if they get this like bubbly, funny version, enthusiastic version of you, they're having a great time too. And the connection, the chemistry between you is fun. So yeah, that's the only advice you need. Don't even look beyond that. Just be yourself. Try and have fun with it. Make it a game, make it exciting, and just go for it. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, that's really damn cool technique you told. So for poker players, like, for all the poker players, any technique or any say daily exercise which you would like to suggest as an mind coach for poker?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes straight to the front of my mind there. Meditation. What is meditation in a nutshell? And let's be clear here, because I see a lot of people practicing mindfulness, which is not meditation. Mindfulness is just trying to be present in the moment. So if you're like doing some shadow boxing and you on Instagram, you're like, meditation this morning. Sorry, but that's not. That's just being mindful. That's being present in an activity, which is a great thing to try and practice. But meditation is different. Meditation is not moving, eyes closed, trying to go as deep within yourself as you can and just forget about the world that's around you. Just be nothing, feel nothing, think nothing. Sink as deep into this meditative state as you can, so you can be super present and aware of your thoughts. You're training the art of self-control, self-awareness, more mental clarity. Why? Because then when you exit the meditation session, you have this skill for real life, day-to-day life. You're more aware, you're more present. It's less likely that you will go into this like monkey mode, let's say, where you have impulsive or illogical thoughts. Like road rage, for example, someone cuts you up, you're beeping your horn, this and that, you're swearing at the guy. You've gone into monkey mode. It's not serving you. It's not helping you at all. Now you're getting angry and frustrated because somebody else's mistake. Like, why? If you're present and fully aware in the moment, and if you've been meditating every day, you'll notice this awareness is a skill. It becomes, you have this control. Firstly, to be aware, like, it's a trigger. It's trying to set me off. It's trying to make me stressed or angry, anxious. No, not today. Today I choose peace. But for myself, if I haven't been meditating on a regular basis, that skill, that awareness is gone. It's not there. And it's too late. I've already said that thing I now regret. Can't take it back. So meditation is training this. And it will stem out to every area of your life. Once you start to feel this self-control, it just snowballs. That self-control translates to confidence, because now you feel like, so aware and in control of your emotions. You're now confident. There's no need for this. There's no need for that. And when you go and sit at the poker table in this super meditative state, super present, feeling super calm, you just play your best poker. You tap into a state that is physically not possible without meditating. So I can't stress enough. Meditate, get into it, do it on a daily basis, because it's a skill. You must sharpen that sword, and you'll notice your life becoming a better place. If you've never meditated before, you're very lucky right now, because once you start, your life will be a better place. I guarantee it. And if you're not sure what meditation is, how to go about it, please, feel free to reach out to me on social media. I'm happy to answer some questions, give you some tips and tricks. But if you want to go deep down the rabbit hole and you want to install this as a habit for life that can be used not for your poker game, but for, helping the quality of your life, then check out my website, masterotmindset.com. We actually sell not just the full Master of the Mindset program, we have a specific meditation and breathwork resource pack on there, which is now on sale, $99. It's got all the videos, the templates, the resources, the audio tracks in there, and this will turn you into a meditating boss.
Great. We're gonna publish all your details on YouTube as well as website so that people can just check it out. They should definitely go for it. Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's towards the end, and we would like to hear a few lines about Poker Pro News because we are just new media house, like started last year only. So, any feedback about us?
Alrighty, guys, if you're out there and you're watching and you're already following Poker Pro News, then well done. We like you guys. But if you're not, then what are you doing? Time to start following, because these guys, although they are new to the scene, right now, one thing I've noticed is the quality and the professionalism of all of their content. Absolutely amazing. So I expect to see these guys follow this path, this trajectory to the moon. And I won't be surprised if over the next few years, we see Poker Pro News as one of the biggest brands in the game for all of this kind of reporting and news articles. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to your team. Super friendly, super professional, and definitely will be supporting you guys going forward. And I hope everybody else listens and does the same.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Grant. So, all right, it's like that's conclude our interview with you. It was really exciting conversation with you, and thank you for your time and sharing so valuable insights with our audience and the budding poker players. They can understand what is a poker, how should every poker player have the mindset and all. We wish you a very good luck for 2025 because again it should be best for you and as a poker player as well as poker host and coach also. And see you soon. I mean, hopefully we'll connect very soon and we'll take another interview with you. That's for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, brother. Hopefully we do the next interview on the live scene somewhere in Asia sometime soon. Thanks for your time, brother.
Definitely. Thank you, Grant.